Welcome to the Cool Down Room. It's the Pit Crew. I'm with my boys, Vinyl, Chris. Hello. Guys? How are you?
Gentlemen, very well, very well.
Very well.
Never question the motivation and dedication of Mr. Vinyl. He is calling to us from work. So thank you, man. We appreciate it. Unlike Chris
You're
and
most
I, who
welcome.
are in our Tuesday bests.
I'm in my civvies, mate, in my civvies.
Us civilians, yeah. So we've got a lot to get through, guys, and clearly the big news is Lawson, Red Bull, Yuki Red Bull. I'm salivating to talk about it, but we're going to try and hold off and get through the little courses first before we get to the main meal. Is that okay?
That's
Absolutely.
fair to me.
Yeah.
Fair to
Okay.
me.
So China. Who wants to open up? Anyone want to give us a bit of a summary?
Well, I watched the Chinese Grand Prix in Chinese on a stream, so
How is your Cantonese?
I was
Mandarin?
immersed in the cultural experience, but maybe I didn't get quite all of the commentary because I didn't understand anything they were saying.
Did you watch it with Jenny, who speaks?
I
Mandarin
did, I did.
Yeah.
I did, and she was giving her opinion as the commentator's opinion, which was actually quite interesting.
How any differences?
pretty
I'm
much,
curious. I'm curious what things are like in the communist state. Like, what was it like?
Yeah.
Were they? Was it? How was it different?
Well, the coverage of the actual cars started about 5 seconds before the race, and the coverage of the actual event finished about 5 seconds after they started spraying champagne. So I was worried they weren't going to cover the start of the race. I was like, there was no grid walks, there was no kind of anything apart from the cars just like coming off the line. It was just bang.
Yeah, let's get down to business.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
be productive. Let's be productive people.
Yeah. No Zhang's grid walk, nothing like that.
There was nothing. There was literally the commentators talking, and I'm like, they're going to miss the start of the race. I know what time the race starts. I don't know if these guys know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cut to the start.
Okay. So McLaren, dominant weekend. Oscar secures his first win of the season. A 1-2 for McLaren. This is shaping up to be a titanic battle between these two young pilots. How do we see it? Any comments on Piastri's performance first to start?
Well, I would just say I think pole was massive for him. I think him getting pole is a massive. Like, he hasn't had it before. It's what he's always wanted. And I feel like he's the kind of guy that when he's in front, he's so calm and like, I just feel like he can manage a race as well as anybody when he can manage a race. When you're in front, not when you're behind and the team's telling you to do this and that. When it's your choice, like, I feel like he can manage a race really well. So I think getting pole for him is a big deal. Like, he thinks now, like, I can do this. I think he's got that self-belief now, having that pole in the GP. He's had it on sprints, obviously. But in the GP, I feel like it's done wonders for him and his confidence.
Yeah.
You look back at Sochi, like Lando on pole in changeable conditions and the panic in his voice and I don't know what to do. I don't see Oscar doing that. Like, I feel like he's a little bit more calm and in control. So I feel like when he's in front, I can't see anyone getting past him when he's in front. You know what I mean? So I think getting his qualifying sorted is a massive deal for him. And I feel like that's what's going to make him a world champion, getting his qualifying sorted.
Yeah.
Because I can't see people, Lando hasn't been a good starter, like he's had lots of poles and he hasn't got into the first corner well. But Oscar's only had one and he did it. So, yeah, I think it's a big deal. Like, I think it's actually a big deal
Cool take.
for him and Lando.
Yeah. Mike, any takes
Yeah,
on
I agree.
Oscar?
I think it was just clinical. Like, the guy is like he's a machine. Once he's out in front, like, it's almost, I don't know, he controls it a bit like Vettel. Like, he's just a clean air. He loves the clean air, and he's very calm.
Almost Germanic in his stoicness.
Yeah.
For an Aussie,
exactly.
he's pretty stoic, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, now and Norris, how will Norris deal with this battle? I think he expected this season to be between himself and Verstappen. I think Oscar's right on him. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be a three-way
Yeah.
race, I think. Obviously, Red Bull is lagging a little bit at the moment, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think he. I actually think he knew that Oscar this year was going to be better than he was last year,
Yeah,
and he
yeah, sure.
good last year. But I actually think Lando's not. I think Lando's a bit worried, man. I think Lando's a bit worried
I
as
would
the
be too,
championship
dude.
favorite. Like he's like, ooh, well, ooh, I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
get my shit together.
for
Like so, yeah.
sure. He's been,
I
Which
think he
is good,
underestimated
which
the
is great for
progression.
the team.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's great for the team. It's going to push them further. You know what I mean? It's going to make it harder for Max to catch
Oh,
the. If it was just Max racing Lando, it would be different. But Max is racing two of these guys now.
yeah.
In a faster car, so it's much harder.
Without a
So
clear
yeah,
number one either. Both on the same
exactly,
salary. Both on the same salary. What do you think about that,
exactly.
Mike? Both of these guys getting the same salary.
I think that's a big blow to Lando, considering that Piastri has the longer contract now as well. I think
Yeah,
that he's feeling like that alpha male status within the team that he had definitely when Ricardo was around is evaporated a long time ago,
Mm.
and
yeah.
the team's clearly looking for the future of McLaren, and that was always Lando. And now that ascendancy has been tables have turned, and I think Lando's feeling the pressure.
He's a little bit expendable, if you think about it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whereas before he was irreplaceable, now,
Hmm.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean?
That's
He
the thing.
is.
They're the
Like,
only top team with two number ones, right? Like two guys that could win the world
yeah.
championship. McLaren are taking a big gamble doing that. Like they've already won the constructors, so they don't really need to win the constructors.
Mm,
You know
mm,
what I
mm,
mean? They
mm,
need to
mm.
win the drivers' championship. So it's interesting.
It's
They're the only
fascinating.
team with two number one drivers. Like so, it's a real. Yeah, I don't know the
When
psychology
was
of it,
the
and
last time McLaren had two number one drivers?
yeah,
Let's.
well, we all know that.
I think what happened in Suzuka at the chicane, we know what happens with two number one drivers.
Which
We
was
know what
great.
happens
Yeah,
in turn one.
We
and we
want
might
that.
find out in 2 weeks' time when we get
Yeah.
to
And we
Chicago. We
want that.
might.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
in turn one. Well,
Two
it was
great
the
drivers.
unimaginable has happened, and we all knew it was going to happen.
Oh, I love
Who
it. I love
knows?
it. Um, shall we go on to Ferrari? Or did
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
anyone Ferrari? Okay. Let's start with the beginning of the weekend. Lewis Hamilton, sprint victory. Brilliant. Sprint qualifying. He pulled that out of nowhere. Of course, we know couldn't replicate the performance, the balance for the actual race. But that was a good, feel good story. The sprint win.
absolutely. Yep,
It
yep,
was good to see the man on
absolutely.
top again. Brought back the
Yep.
memories. His first time in red.
And so fast as well. It happened like so early in the season. Like you thought that Hamilton was, still twiddling knobs on the
Mm.
Ferrari steering wheel, trying to get all
Yeah.
the settings right, and it was all going to be a struggle with the vehicle that he's never driven much before. And suddenly, he likes the circuit, car works well, and he's in his pole
Oh,
position.
dude. He's the master at downplaying his, his adeptness at something like, oh, I've never seen
Yeah.
anything like this before. The next second, bang,
I mean,
pole.
say
My
what you want
tires
about
are
the
gone,
guy.
Bono.
Yeah.
Fastest lap.
Yeah. I feel like say what you want about the guy, like worst fashion sense in the world, but and he gets it done. Like you know what I mean? Like
Subjective,
Yeah.
Chris. Subjective.
he knows what to do and he gets it done. Like he's a real professional.
He is,
The
yeah.
ultimate professional.
Hmm.
He knows what to do. So yeah, really impressive from Lewis.
He knows what to do, but do the
Does
pit crew?
Ferrari.
Does Ferrari know what to do? Because Saturday was good. Sunday. Let's talk about Sunday, Chris.
Yeah,
Tell
look,
him.
I feel a
Tell him.
bit sorry for them. Like usually when teams get disqualified, it's because they're like trying to cheat or gain an advantage somewhere. I feel like Ferrari got a bit caught out. Like they were just caught out by the strategy. Like I think they were banking on a two-stop. They thought it was
Okay,
definitely
yep.
a two-stop race, right? It turned out to be a one-stop, and they just got caught out. Like, I mean, if you look at the details, like Lewis was disqualified because his plank you know, the underfloor, the plank's got to be, I don't know if it's 8 or 9 mil, I can't remember, but
It's 9, and he got 8.5.
right, yeah. So his was 8.5, so it's
mm.
half a mil. Like I mean, it's not excusable, you know, for the most powerful team in the history of Formula One, but you know, it's a slight mistake, and you know, the curbs are hard, and how do you work this shit out? But also for as far as being underweight for Charles, like yeah, they thought it was a two-stopper, and so did everyone.
Mm.
And you know, he was a slightly underweight. He was underweight about 1 kilo, which is so little. Like it's literally 1 kilo. It's a mistake. It's not good enough.
Mike,
And
excusable
But that's like, I don't know, like that's
or
like
bullshit
if they're
Ferrari?
counting grams and they're counting thousands, then a kilo is quite a lot,
It's a
isn't it?
1,000 grams,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
Yeah, like you know,
There's
they're going,
thousands
oh,
of
for
them.
every kilo of fuel, 1,000 grams, you lose
Yeah.
how many tens of lap time? And this is after they put the spoiler back on. Apparently, they put the damaged spoiler back on, which is
Yeah.
obviously going to add a little bit of weight, as in the
Okay.
non-damaged spoiler. And then
Yeah.
it was still under a kilo after they drained the fuel. So the car was too light.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
all
mean,
the other teams, other than Alpine, are able to follow the standards,
Yeah.
but Ferrari,
But-
it
And
came at a
Lewis's car
bad
wasn't
time.
underweight, so
Did anyone see Max driving into the pits at the end of the race, like on the cool down lap?
No.
So
the
he was
Chinese
on.
coverage finished pretty quick.
He was he was intentionally on the grass. He was on the grass in the pit lane, just trying to pick up grass and dirt
Boy.
on the tires, just desperate to gain weight, right?
Jeez.
Because they were on the same strategy as Ferrari. I'm sure they told him,
Yeah,
we don't know if we're going to
right.
make the weight. He was every second trying to gain weight on the car, like
200
post.
IQ shit, man.
And yeah, exactly. This is after the race is over. Like, so
That's
this is the
crazy.
thing about these guys, guys like him and Schumacher.
Alonso.
The difference
yeah.
is, the difference is they have this extra,
Bandwidth.
like this extra
Capacity.
capacity. Yeah,
Mm.
like I'm the fastest. I'm setting fastest laps. I'm also watching the TV on the side of the race, so I know what everyone else is doing in the race when my competitors are pitting.
Yeah.
So I can talk to the pit crew during the race and say, "Oh, the clerk's in the pits now. Should we pit this lap or next lap?" Like,
Yeah.
it's just that
Or
extra capacity.
use that capacity like Alonso at Miami just to compliment his teammate by watching the
Yeah,
big screen.
exactly. Well, to compliment his team owner, really.
Team owner.
But yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, I think Ferrari suffers a big image problem at the moment, a perception problem, right? The team itself is, whether they do right or wrong, whether it's bad luck or just,
No luck.
no luck, that everybody perceives this team as being fuck up. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
what can they do?
I think some of it is misplaced because everyone thinks, I think for the layman, they think Ferrari is the richest team and the most money, so they should be the best. But obviously with the salary cap, like that hurt them more than anyone. Like it's clear. Like, so it's like we've all got the same money to spend. But the thing with Ferrari is they're an Italian team. Red Bull, McLaren, they're a world team. They're modern teams that are multinational. You know what I mean? But Ferrari is Italian.
Yeah.
So they employ Italians. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Italian people. I'm just saying you should pick the best people in the world for your business. But Ferrari is
the comments on this podcast are increasing rapidly.
Well, mamma mia.
This is my opinion.
No,
I feel like
agree.
Ferrari has the history that, and so they should. You know what I mean? Like they've been successful for
Ferrari,
so long.
It wouldn't be wrong to say that culturally Ferrari has been less adaptable to change than other teams, right? Like that's not just a cliche.
Because when you're winning, you don't want things to change. Why would you?
Whereas, the cliche of Germanic, precision, and it applies to Mercedes.
Okay, let's contrast this. Does AlphaTauri have bad strategy? Or the new Visa Cash App RV? They had some pretty bad strategy with the Ricciardo. But in general, as an Italian team, are they known for bad strategy because of their
I still think they
cultural
have bad
location?
strategy. I still think they
Mm.
had bad strategy. Look at Yuki. Yuki's been fucked over plenty of times by
Mm.
strategy. So yeah, I would agree. Like I think they need. That's the thing. If I don't know, I don't want to get into DEI right here, but I feel like you need to employ the best people for the job. Like regardless of nationality, sex, gender. You know, this is the pinnacle of motorsport. Like these are
Yeah,
the best of
yeah,
the best.
yeah.
We are the
If you
world.
mean, I mean, if you look at just the pit crews from Ferrari and contrast them to Red Bull, right? Ferrari just
Yeah.
looked like a bunch of guys, you know what I mean? Red Bull looked like 12
Oh,
athletes, you know what I mean? Every dude
yeah.
is like ripped, physically
Yeah.
fit. They fit into that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Archetype.
mean,
And
they're all
it's,
good. I mean, the Ferrari pit crew is great. Like, I don't want to be too down on them. Like, anyone that can do a pit stop in 2 seconds is incredible. Like, and
sure,
Ferrari
sure.
can. It's just the point is they don't do it all the time. That's the
Mm,
problem,
mm.
and Red Bull can.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we picked on
Okay.
Ferrari? Enough on a Ferrari?
I think so.
Enough
I
on
think so.
Ferrari. Yeah.
How about
Yeah. Lewis's
Mercedes?
helmet looked good. I like the yellow.
Yeah, Lewis. Don't knock his fashion sense ever again. How about Mercedes, guys? Let's give us some points on Mercedes before we move on to these other teams.
Russell didn't see him the whole race. Did okay.
Mm.
Did the Russell
Ah,
thing. Committed to one stop early. Worked out.
I mean,
Kimi driver of the
Russell.
day. He's
I mean,
popular.
yeah. Look, I don't think he was driver of the day, but I think he drove a great race. Like, I don't think he could have done better. He wasn't going to ever be faster than McLaren's, but Max might have been faster than him, maybe. Like, if he wasn't quick. So I feel like George got the most out of the Merc,
Yeah, he
on the
did. He
race day.
did.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Clean qualifying.
maximum.
And
That's
Antonelli,
maximum.
driver of the day, didn't you say, Chris? Which is big for
Yeah, I mean,
the young guy.
I don't agree with it. I think it's a complete
Oh,
misnomer, but
it's a made
I mean,
up
it all
award,
depends on those. Yeah.
but yeah,
But
he's doing well, the young
solid,
guy.
solid. Yeah, solid. He's getting points every race. He's doing what Lawson's not doing, not to get ahead of
Mm.
ourselves, but you know what I mean? He's scoring points. He's in the mix. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah.
All you can
All right.
ask.
Um, let's slam through this before we get to the main event. Okay, so doing pressure's growing. We always knew he was going to be on the hot seat, but the performances haven't been there.
It's just
Anyone else? Mike?
anodyne. It's just anodyne. Like it's just average.
It's just
not
average. It's
not
meh.
it's not
Yeah.
improving
Yeah.
much. It's not spectacular. There's no glimpses of potential. I feel for the guy. Seems like a decent bloke, but doesn't he seems a bit of a Jolyon Palmer kind of story about one.
The other rookies are really shining at moments too. They've had some bad moments, but like Behrman was strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Haja
The
was shy.
only thing I would say about doing is I was at least impressed he got his elbows out at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He got a penalty and that was really clunky, like his incident.
Yeah.
But at least he was like, I'm gonna keep this guy behind me. Like he kept Hajar behind him, like
Yeah.
for the whole race. And Hajar was faster, but he showed some skill, I thought, at least, in keeping
Yeah.
Hajar behind him. Even though, and he had a penalty, he knew he had a penalty, a 10-second penalty. So he was going to be finished behind Hajar, but he kept him behind him. So I think he'd earned some respect for me in that respect, that he fought really hard the whole race.
Yeah, I hope he just gets a little bit longer to prove himself because from all reports, it seems like time is running out.
Yeah, I mean, he finished ahead of one Red Bull. That's something.
Yeah. Mike, anything to add on that?
No. I mean, should we move on to the other Red Bull? Or?
One more before we get to the good stuff.
Okay. Sorry.
Albon.
You jumped the gun.
Signs. Who would have seen this coming? Like last year, we all predicted Signs would have Albon's lunch.
Yeah.
What he's gotten into this, is it just a case of him knowing the car better than his new teammate? What is it? Mike, kick us
I
off
don't
on
know.
this one.
Does Sainz have a girlfriend? Does she go to the track? All I see is Lily He on TV more than Albon. Like,
You think
like
it's
the
a bit of
star
home cooking, huh?
Yeah, with William's garage.
No sex
TV,
before the fight.
but yeah, Albon's got Lily in the garage and he's on cloud nine and he's driving fast. That's what the F1 presentation would lead you to believe. At least the Chinese telecast.
Oh yeah, she would have been featured a lot, wouldn't she have? Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. Carlos actually said like it wasn't broadcast during the race, but actually said at the end of the race, like, guys, I'm so much faster than this. Like, I will to his engineer. He's like, I will get there. Like, I'm so much faster than this. I'm still working it out. I'm like, I will get there.
Yeah.
And his engineer was like, yeah, we'll get there together. It's all good. Like, you got time.
Yeah.
But,
I think people have forgotten
so-
how talented Albon is, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's never... He came second in F2. In F1, he got the Red Bull seat very quickly. And, other than the Red Bull period, he's been very, very competent. You know what I mean? Very solid.
Yeah, exactly. Same as Gasly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gasly's a kick ass. He's beaten all his teammates.
Yeah.
You put him next to Max, he fucking does nothing, like most of them. But I think it's just the curse of that seat.
It's just the curse,
Like,
and that leads us in nicely. Let's get to the
big
main
news.
deal. The big news. It has been reported. It's almost certain. We can't confirm it for sure, but Lawson has been replaced by Yuki for Suzuka. The curse of the Red Bull second seat continues. Guys, initial thoughts, feelings about Lawson. Let's start with Lawson before we talk about Yuki replacing him.
I reckon it was the change of hairstyle, man. Like, he just needed the boy band style from last year. He was living in the early 2000s, just rocking it. And then he decided to go a Red Bull and kind of like rock star, kind of like distressed hair. And it just didn't work.
Feeling himself too much,
Can't change your routine, mate.
Can't.
Too big a change.
Chris, quick take on Lawson. What has gone wrong with him?
I like it, Mike. I think the Red Bull is a shit car this year. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Max, just to play devil's advocate, would be faster in a racing bull.
I think so too. I mean,
Yuki
was only a third behind Max. I think he has to drive the shit out of that car to make it go anywhere, and only he can do it because it's so specific to his style.
Yeah.
Everybody else is struggling.
But Red Bull have been in a 12-month spiral. Like, the car has got progressively worse for 12 months in the death spiral.
Adrian is gone, mate.
Adrian's gone, and they're struggling with their emergency meetings and the French guy and whatever. Like, the car is not
Sexting their assistants.
Better.
It's a shambles.
Yeah. I think the car's terrible. I think Liam's doing the best he can. I think it's probably the most difficult car to drive on the grid.
I mean,
I think 2 races is not enough. Like, give the guy at least 5 races, 6 races.
He's not a bad driver. We all know how talented he is. He outraced Yuki for much of the year, or at least was neck to neck, not in terms of qualifying pace, but race pace he was. And to see him struggle like 19th and 20th on the grid is just, it's not him. I don't think he's not that bad. He can't be.
What happens in Japan if Lawson in a racing bull out qualifies Yuki in a race?
Yeah, and he will.
He's just going to be, is it the car?
And that's highly possible. That is very
I think it's
possible.
likely. Yeah, I think it's likely.
That's not a long shot at all. So, who feels this is a fair change? This is unfair. Do you both any takes on that?
My opinion
Single
is
swings?
a fair. If you're going fair, like, they should have put Yuki in first. Like, they should have put Yuki in, and then if it doesn't work out, we'll put Liam in. That makes more sense from a lot. Yuki's got the experience.
Yeah,
he's been around. Like, it makes more sense. Like, I think. I don't know.
From the other side, though,
they just keep backing themselves into a corner and make it really hard. Yeah.
Mike?
I don't know, like, on the other side, like, should they, I mean, are they going to destroy Lawson mentally by this juggling? Like, should they give the guy 6 months?
Of course.
So just give the guy,
that's what I mean.
Give him a DeVries, give him 6 months, and at least go, hey, you've got an ample opportunity to learn the car. Because otherwise he goes back to racing bulls, he does well, and then he's still got that trepidation, like, should I even go back to Red Bulls?
I feel like...
And have a round 2 of destroying my career.
Yeah. I feel like driver development is as much about nurturing and developing the confidence and talent as much as it is just putting them into a fast car. They
Mhm.
I totally
accelerated.
agree.
They put him on a treadmill that he couldn't keep up with because it's so accelerated. Whereas they had developed Yuki with a lot of patience and tolerance, to be honest, 3, 4 years,
Mhm.
allowed him to make mistakes, grow,
Well,
and really
I mean, there.
mature. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
I,
feel like that was the natural progression to put him in that.
Mhm.
Then you
Mhm.
can, if he messes that up, Lawson has time to develop, and he slots in nicely. Now you have to do an awkward backtrack. That is
So
just
awkward.
really bad, really cringy. It's
yeah.
bad. How do you like? It's bad on PR. It's bad for morale. The whole
It
team
doesn't
isn't
look
gonna
good.
like this.
It
You know
doesn't
what I
look
mean?
good. I
Yeah.
totally agree, Mike. I mean, I think the other factor I think we need to factor in is Honda, and like they pay Red Bull $10 million a year
Mm.
for Yuki to be in that a seat,
Okay.
right? That's a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money.
Really? Is 10 mil that much? I don't
That's
know.
a lot. Well, it's a lot of money to me. I don't know about you.
To you,
And
but
it's
yeah,
still
if he
no, but
buys
it's
a
still a
reasonable
lot of
house, I
money.
guess.
It's
But
still it
why,
doesn't matter. It
if
doesn't
the
matter where
money,
you are.
if the money is
$10 million is a
massive,
lot of money.
why wasn't he put in that seat in the first place then?
Because
If
they thought, because I honestly think they thought Liam would be faster. Like that's why. I don't think they have some nefarious. I don't think they're racist and they don't want Yuki to
no,
do well.
I don't think so.
I honestly think they think
Except for
Liam was.
Marco.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Doctor Doom's a different story, but I honestly think they thought that he was going to be faster. They're like, he's younger. He's
Mm,
competing with Yuki at the
mm,
same level.
mm,
Yuki's been around for a while,
mm.
but he's not sort of going to the next level,
Okay,
whereas maybe Liam has that potential.
sure.
I think like 2 races is not enough. I think we can all
No,
agree.
No,
we
Like
all
it's
agree
it's
with
not
that.
not enough.
fair.
It's clearly not enough
It's
to
not
learn the
enough. And
car.
he knew
Mike.
that. And he was just falling apart in front of the
Yeah.
media. He was like, I just need a bit more time. I don't have enough time. I haven't got the time. I'm doing my, it was just really sad to see. I don't think Red Bull's looking like a team that destroys drivers, not the team that creates drivers, which is not what a racing team
Well, it
should
stems from
be.
above. It's led by
Mike.
Helmut Marko, and Helmut Marko's like just lack of reading the room with his comments.
Humanity. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just lost the light there for a second,
No,
guys.
good save, Mike.
The lights are off at work.
Okay, no, we'll let you go soon, dude. Sorry for holding you up.
No,
But
no, no, all
any
good,
other
all
takes
good, all
on
good.
Red Bull, their culture, Mike? I mean,
I don't know. I guess when the chips are down, that's when it gets shown up. Like if they're winning and everything's fine, and they can all sort of like sing by the same hymn book. But like when the car is where it is, that's when the cracks are showing, and they're showing now. That's really it.
I mean, if
Yeah.
Max just let's have a hypothetical, and Max leaves at the end of the season to go to, I don't know, Mercedes. What does Red Bull do then with a car that no one can drive, and a bunch of drivers that they've sent back and forth to their development team? They're just in an awkward position with no
Yeah.
proper development or
Yeah, yeah.
career
Man,
path for their drivers. It's
Yeah,
really awkward.
yeah, which is ridiculous considering they own two teams, which are designed to make the
exactly.
development
Yeah,
path
yeah,
smoother, easier, and more consistent than other teams.
that's right. They're the
These are
only
the
team.
only guys that shouldn't have any problem with this. These are the only
Wow,
guys
yeah.
that,
Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. If look, it's not official yet, but it looks like it's a done deal. It looks like Yuki's in the seat. I think putting him in time for Suzuka is probably something that they're going to try and spin to a positive story. Like, wow, we wanted him to, be here for Japan, even though it's a sad
So,
story overall.
so can I throw a bit of background in? So
Yeah, go
I
for it.
read that so it's 10 mil, right? That Honda pay Red Bull to have Yuki in one of their seats a
Okay.
year. So a lot of money.
Sure.
Apparently at the end of last year, Honda said we'll give you another 10 mil. We'll make it 20 if you put Yuki in the Red Bull.
Hmm.
And they said, nah, we're going to go with Liam.
Right.
So on Monday, they met in Abu Dhabi because that's where the Red Bull, the Thai guy who's a Red Bull majority shareholder
Yeah,
lives.
yeah.
Right. That was their emergency meeting. And Honda said, we're willing to. Well, actually, Red Bull asked Honda.
Still
they
got
said,
that
"Are
10
you-"
mil?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they said. You still got that 10 million? And Honda said yes, but the condition is it's got to be before Japan. It has to be for Japan
Wow.
because we're, obviously
Of
all
course.
the publicity and how much money we'll
Yeah,
make.
yeah.
They're like, the only way we'll do it if it's this week. So it's got to be this week. If you want another 10 mil from me, it's got to be this week. Which would totally, it's business. It makes sense.
It's business,
But that's
is
why
it
it's
good
so
business?
hard.
Is it good business, Chris?
It's good business because it will make Honda a lot of money. In the short term, it'll make Honda a lot of money. Like, absolutely, it's good business for Honda.
How about for the
And
brand,
it's their
Mike?
money.
Mike, for you? Is it good business for Red Bull?
I think so.
It hurts
I
the
think it is.
brand.
Well, if
within
Liam's
the Asian
20th
market,
again.
Southeast Asia, Japanese driver. Yeah, I think it's good appeal.
It's good for Yuki. I am happy as a Yuki fan. I am happy for the young guy to finally get his Red Bull seat. He's wanted it for a long time. Last week, in the media pen, they literally said, "Would you take Liam's seat?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, 100%. It's a
Fuck
faster
that
car.
guy. Fuck that guy, man. Fuck him. I'm not his friend." And you saw the media woman literally pull him aside, like, "Okay, Yuki, shut the fuck up. Let's go. Enough, Yuki. Let's go."
Don't pull me away, you retard.
Yeah, no, fuck him.
I mean, they've been racing for years. They've been in every category.
teammates.
They
were roommates.
And teammates, yeah.
They were
exactly.
roommates.
So they know each other really well. So
Yeah.
Liam thinks, look, I've beat this guy in the past all the time, so this is my time. And Yuki's like, well, I'm beating you now, so this is my time.
It's
and
gone
they're both
back
got a
and
story
forth.
to tell.
Historically,
Yeah.
it's been back and forth. They're both very good.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
The
guys.
point is,
Yeah, sorry.
so can I just throw one thing in there?
Please do, man. I'd love
I'm
it.
like, why don't they put, and Mike, you might be able to answer this better than me, I don't know if it's contractual or whatever, can't they throw them in the sim, like in the Red Bull sim, and can you drive this car or not before you actually
Well, surely
drive
they did that with
Surely
Liam
they
before
have.
they signed him up. Surely they
That's what I don't get. I'm like,
yeah,
why?
like Ricardo drove the Red Bull.
Yeah, and they're like,
sim,
oh,
and apparently
he was
liked
so
the
close
drive
to
more than
Max
the
and-
AlphaTauri.
I'm just saying, maybe Yuki's out next. If Yuki has a bad weekend in Suzuka, is Ricardo going to call Ricardo up and go,
Maybe
Dude.
they should have put Ricardo in the Red Bull after the Silverstone test when he would have been on pole. His
I'm just
confidence
saying,
would have
maybe
been
they're going
back.
to call him up and go, you're the only guy who's been
Oh my
competitive with
God.
Max recently.
I love it.
You still interested?
Like it's 2018.
Deputy Red Bull
Let's do it.
gets us talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carlos Sainz, come back. All right. Is anything else to add, boys? I think this was a good episode. I think we got a lot off our chests. A lot of news this week. A lot of news to come.
Let it out.
Next
That's it.
GP is Japan, so that'll be a good one.
So psyched for Suzuka.
It's
One
a
of the
big
best
one.
tracks. It's
Yeah,
a great
man.
track.
Boys, let's get together and watch it on a Sunday during normal hours.
Yeah, we'll do a watch
Exactly.
along. Anyone that's online, we will
Absolutely.
do a watch along for sure. So please join us for that. Thank you for listening. It's been Recreate Play, the Pit Crew, Cool Down Room. Thank you guys. See you for next time.
And good night, literally.
Yeah. Good night.
Kimmy, you missed the presentation. Can you get over it?
I was having a shit.
Okay, thanks for that.